Testing 1, 2. Looks like I have audio levels. And I am back after a week off trying to recover from allergies. So I'm still not 100%, so if I cough or something, please excuse me. So we've got a lot of things going on, and I've been involved in several different games on an ongoing basis. So there's lots of things to talk about. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go ahead and dive in. I want to start with the town hall from this week. There's not a lot that I have to talk about. Hey, Gathering. Thanks for dropping in. Anything, if there's any particular topics you want to talk about today, just go ahead and throw them in the chat and we will bring them up. Otherwise, I'm going to start with the town hall notes, which there aren't particularly a lot of this week. And then we can transition into Splinter Forge and Golem Overlord. I think a lot of my time has been spent on Golem Overlord lately, but I have been did make a few moves in Splinterlands this week, and I'm still waiting to make a move in Splinter Forge because I keep saving up, and when I think I have enough money to buy an upgrade for my boots, they go up and I can't afford them again. So we'll get into that. So let's go ahead and talk about a little bit about what was in the town hall this week. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot. Don't really want to get into the DAO and the foundation because I'm not really. I did not tune into the town hall. However, I watched it secondhand and I looked at the notes. I'm not really big on talking about the DAO and what it controls and whatever. I'm not really into that. But we'll just kind of skip over that. We can start talking about Zerial. The one thing that I will say is that I got on to this last week, and I really tried to make a move and tried to buy Zerial. But when I looked at the amount of money spent, or the amount of money that I would have to spend, pragmatically, I think that I would have to at least buy a level 2 Zerial, because I think at level 1 the card is really not even worth the money. So when you bring it up to 3 BCX, it's even more money, and I still don't think the value's there. Hey Wibble, thanks for dropping in. Currently discussing Zerial, but if there's anything you want to discuss as far as Splinterland, Splinter Forge, or Golem Overlord goes, just drop it in the chat. Hey Alex. Alex says, did not buy it and I will not buy it. Yeah, Alex, I think that's the main conclusion I came to. I came on, when they went live, after I got home from work, I went on and I just wanted to see how fast they were selling. And, well, the answer is they're not selling very fast. So let's go and take a look at it as far as what it looks like today. We will see. I think it started out at 12,500, right? So about 1,500 have sold of the 12,500. Of course, we still have the majority of a month left for it to sell. But I guess my main point is I think I came to the same conclusion as what Alex did. I was looking at the amount of money that would have to be spent and the value. If you've watched my videos before, I always try to buy cards that bring value and strengthen my deck. In other words, make it better for me to win, right? So I looked at the amount of money spent to have to buy a level 2 of Zerial and thought that there's so many other things that I could put that money towards that I didn't buy it. I came to the same conclusion. If there's anybody watching that did buy a Zerial, let me know and let me know what your reasoning was. And I'm not, there's no right or wrong answer here. I could have very well bought it and said, well, it's a collector card, right? So that was my purpose in buying it. And I'm not saying it's a bad card. I'm just saying that it doesn't have value to me as far as how much it costs. And I'll give you an example. I think Gathering made this same example in one of his videos. Was that you could take the money to buy 1 BCX of this card, and you could buy a land. And at the price of land now, you could buy more than one land. You could buy almost a rare land, depending upon where it was, for the cost of 1 BCX. And I don't think 1 BCX is, I'm not saying it's not playable. I'm just saying that it's not 65, 70 US dollars playable. You know what I mean? So am I arguing it's a cool card? It's definitely a cool card. I definitely like the idea of having dual or multiple Splinter cards in the game. In fact, back when I played Magic, one of my favorite cards was a dual land. Right, I had multiple sets of dual lands right before I sold my collection. Love that idea. I love the idea before Magic went way overboard and had, I love the idea of multicolor characters, right? So we'll just leave it at that. Alex says, you can buy Dr. Blight. And that's another thought. You and I are thinking along the same wavelength. I was thinking, I'm like, I've always been watching that Dr. Blight. Maybe I should get one of those for the same price. I was thinking about it. I didn't make that move this week. I'll show you what I did buy this week. But yeah, and Gathering agrees. Much rather have a Dr. Blight. Well, let's go in and see what the Dr. Blight. I always wanted one too, but they've always kind of been outside of my reach as far as, okay, so $42. They're going for 42 US dollars for 1 BCX, right? And 1 BCX gets you Affliction and Camouflage. So arguably, yeah, I agree. I think Dr. Blight would be a better per BCX card because Dr. Blight at 1 BCX is immediately playable. At 2, or at level 2 with 3 BCX, he becomes even more playable with Poison, though. So Alex says they went to 38. Yeah, I mean, it fluctuates, but I guess the main point is I think this is a better card and is cheaper than what Zerial is. Okay, so I guess that's the point. And also the point is that you could come over here and, well, let's look at it on Peak Monsters. See what Land's going for. So Land's going for just under 50, right? Crypto Boggy or Crypto Boogie or however you want to say it has been staying at the low end of this price range, and he's been trying to sell these. I've become tempted, and I've been watching this week, and I have seen it fluctuate down into the 40s. So I still think it'll drop further, but this is not a particular area I'm interested in. And I'm really back to Gathering's main point a few weeks ago, was that I'm kind of got my eyes on a caldera or a mountain, right, due to what it produces. So Wibble says Blight is overpowered once he gets to gold level. Well, let's take a look at that. I have never played because I don't own him, but I have played against him plenty, right? So so at level 3, he does pick up Scavenger. I love Scavenger cards. Scavenger cards are one of those things that can just kind of take a match for you. In other words, it can be looking bad for you, but the Scavenger comes up and wins the day. So Alex says, I wouldn't buy cheap land because people in those regions won't work them. I mean, it's a good point. All of this is just, it's just guesswork at this point, right? I will tell you this. I am trying to sell my plot over in Gilith, number 12, because I want to pick up another plot in 114 because I do have a rare here, rare magic land here. And the way I've looked at this is I really think, especially starting off, that you're going to need 2 plots in the same area. logically speaking. One plot to do whatever it's good at, right? In this case, Magic Lake, but another plot to produce food for those two plots. Because otherwise, you can reference a video I had here a few weeks ago. I think people are going to be paying through the ears for food, for grain to start off with. Now, obviously, this will trickle down. The price of grain will trickle down as people start producing it and throwing it on the market. But to start off with, I think people are going to be hit with that big price of grain just to keep those lands going. Gathering says, I have a plot of land in 110 and I want to trade for one in 43, 46, 48, or 51. And Alex says, I've got 3 plots in 91 with my Gulf mates, and I have 1 plot in Gankland. So you have 1 in 110. So that's Galeshire. And then you have, I heard Gathering, I watched his videos about having land near his wife, 43, 46. They spread the numbers out so far that I'm trying to find. Okay, so yeah. You're talking about down in this area, yeah. Land of Prosperity. And Alex is in 91, which is up here. Yeah, right here, Wild Northwest. I have a plot over here, like I said, with my brother in the lake over here. And I do want to pick up a plot, hopefully when Ravenwood opens up over here with Gathering. But I think the main point is I think that you're going to need your land kind of close together in the same area so you can help each other. And Wibble says, managed to get 1 plot in 51. So 51 over here, Land of Prosperity. How soon before the next phase of land? According to what they say, we're still looking at the end of the month. But as you know, they keep, I work for a company. I'm in IT, but I work for a software company, and I know how these. I'm familiar with the way this kind of development runs, and hopefully they stay on track because. But the mode of development, which is called agile, kind of, it's built around fluctuations, kind of being agile and moving towards the most important. We'll see. I don't know anything about what's going on in the background. I'm sure there's so many variables at play here, and everybody for the last couple of years have really been pressuring them to get this land active. And I'm really impressed with what the smaller team has done as far as what they've done already this year. So I'm currently, like I said, like you are too, I'm looking at Ravenwood. Hopefully somebody doesn't buy and claim that whole region. But I'm looking at Ravenwood. I also noted, that the price of land has generally went up. And I'm not talking I'm talking about buying, let's see here. So 190, it was up to 200, a little bit over 200 the other day. So a common is going for 190 now, or a regular plot is going for 190. So yeah, Gathering says very close to Ravenwood opening up soon. Yeah, I hope it doesn't get like what happened to Daggerdale. But Ravenwood's here. Shadow Vale sounds pretty cool as well. But I'm ready to go ahead and make a claim because it's basically sitting there and not earning me anything. And I do believe that I'm hoping I've been keeping an eye on Daggerdale to see if he starts selling any plots. And in Ravenwood, whenever I claim, I will probably also want to pick up another plot, just to be able to, like I said earlier, be able to have two plots in the same vicinity, so I can grow grain on one to help both of them keep producing. So Alex says, let's do it. Let's do what, Alex? Get something in. Are you interested in getting a plot in Ravenwood as well? I had to stop and take a drink. I'm still taking cold medicine. It's drying me out. Okay, well, let's go ahead and look at the town hall a little bit more. We talked about Zerial. There has been some gameplay updates. They did add a new game mode, Rebirth. This should be interesting. And Alex says, no, I've got 4 plots. Understood. Yeah, this is all just... I think I want to get to the point, like I said, I want to sell my land that's over here, and I want to pick up another one in 114, and then I want to pick up another one. I want to have a total of 2 in Ravenwood. So that'll give me, 4. So Alex says, I've got 200,000 DEC for them. No need to buy more. Still land is out. Yeah, I think that once people see how much it's going to cost to keep one plot of land going, overall, that I think this will affect the price of land. I think the price of land will go down somewhat, the common lands, right? Because people are going to notice, obviously, you have all the cards you have to buy. And we've seen the price of cards spike and then come back down as well. But you have the cards, but then you have to feed them. And I keep going back to this because I don't think people realize how much it's going to cost on an ongoing basis to keep those lands going. So I really hate to see, I know these big whales that bought large tracts of land and everything, I think that they're really going to be hurting, because even if you're on the high end and you're paying a lot of money and you're buying a lot of lands, that's a lot of cards you're going to have to put on those lands, and that's a lot of food to keep all those lands going. So Alex says, I got Beta Max Legendaries and a Rooney and Totem from Magic Waterland. Sounds good to me. I mean, you couldn't ask for more than that, right? I have a few cards, but nothing fancy like that. I don't have a Rooney. And the beta I have to put on my land is a rare, not a legendary. So let's pop over here. I already did my brawls. You know what? I shifted my the beta I bought to my secondary account to rent it out in the meanwhile. Gathering says, definitely agree. Oh, this is the new one I bought, one of the cards I picked up today. As you all know, I've been buying alphas, one a week, just to supplement my collection. And this week, it was a Pit Ogre. I'm still trying to find that beta. And Gathering says, definitely agree. Constant grain will be needed, and the higher production plot means a ton of grain needed. People who don't have max monsters might be better off. Yeah, I've been buying the alphas from the bottom up, and I'm getting to the point where they're starting to get a little bit more pricey. But I'm going to keep going until it just becomes ridiculous. So, so I popped over here. Why am I not able to find my alpha? Oh, it's a beta. Sorry about this. I'm going back and forth between 3 accounts trying to find the one card I bought to put on lands. This is ridiculous. Okay. Gathering says, I look at Splinterlands alphas like Magic the Gathering alphas cards. You can have enough, and years down the road, the prices will be unbelievable. Yeah, I agree. And I was in the same boat, right? I was in, I played Magic from Revised for a few years, and I had a large collection. And unfortunately, you know, I had Moxes, and I had a Lotus and everything, multiple sets of dual lands and stuff like that. I made a bad choice back at the late 90s and sold off my collection and bought a motorcycle. And now the motorcycle is gone and I don't have my Magic collection. So I guess it's the same old story, right? So so here are the alphas I currently have. And to Gathering's point, I started buying them just because, you know, I got in back at Revised in Magic, and I always wanted some alphas and betas. And I did have some, but none of the, I had betas, Moxes and stuff, but those got sold off. Correction, I had one beta Mox and the others were unlimited. But anyway, I am behind on getting ready for land. I still need a ton of DEC and monsters. I think we all do. I think that over the months as they developed and put more and more DEC and SPS sinks into land, that it's become exponentially more expensive to play land. And I think that once it fully goes live, people are going to be really surprised. And Balsanga wants to challenge me. Okay, sure, why not? Okay, let's see. We got 27 mana cap. We've got heavy hitters, Rise of the Commons. I'm going to take this off screen just for a minute and do my, let's see here. I'm selecting my team here. Got a minute and a half left. Let's see here. Okay, I'm back, and let's see what happens. I think that I think that he may have me on this one. Yeah, he's got me. Yeah, no problem. Okay, well, let's see here. So, what's everybody done in... hey, Alex, are you Bossanga? I just took that by what you said in chat. Good match, good match. So, over on Golem Overlord this week, yeah, that's a good strong team you had there. Kind of switching it up a little bit. On Golem Overlord, we saw some big changes this last week, obviously. And really, I think that there's two ways. I've done a video on this earlier this week, but I think the strongest team in Golem Overlord now is definitely going a pure attack build. Gathering says I'm working on leveling. Yeah, I think that the changes they put in were needed, but I also think the changes slowed everything way down. And I think that it's become much easier to get into the game and do an attack build than it will be to be a farming build. And that's one of the takeaways, right? To kind of stop these big multi-unit farms, right? So, but doing an attack build takes a lot more. You have to pay attention to the game a lot more, and on a daily basis, I don't really have that time. I can come on and set my timer to do my claims and everything like that, but usually until I get off work, I don't have time to pay attention to it and do attacks. Alex says, yeah, I've been keep buying scavenger golems. I am still, even though it's slower, I am still doing a defense build, right? As you can see, I'm still upping fortification and faith. And I've also been trying to upgrade my scavenger golems and banked. So that's kind of hand in hand, right? You increase your banked. The way I see it is you want to increase your stash and increase your scavenger golems kind of hand in hand so that you can you have enough scavenger golems to fill up your stash on an 8-hour period, right? Or eventually when you get to the 4-hour claim or whatever. And Gathering says, I have to adjust my strategy because I can only claim twice a day because of work, trying to set it for 12 hours and not get attacked. Yeah, it's tough because the more you get in your stash, the bigger target you begin to look like, right? Alex says, yeah, I defense, but I need to get my golems up so I can get max per 8 hours. Yeah, I was in... Today I upgraded to 30 scavenger golems, but most of the week I've been at 25, 26. And I was at like 28 stash, something like that, and 25, 26 golems was not enough to fill up 28 in 8 hours. So today I just went up and I leveled it off at 30 golems. I'm going to try to keep it there. And I came up to 70 banked. So I'm not quite sure. I think I should get right near 30 in an 8-hour period. But I think that you still have to keep upping that fortification and faith so people think twice before attacking you, because as soon as you get over like 20 in your stash, you start becoming like a really viable target. But I will notice that I'm not really quite sure how the math goes on behind the scenes, because I was trying to do a couple small attacks right before I claim, right? and I would attack people sufficiently below me so I had like a 93% chance of winning. But then I just started losing. It's just like there's, he's put something into the game that if you attack somebody sufficiently below you, you're going to incur a penalty. And I'm not just talking about the penalty on claiming. Alex says I have 11.2, and Gathering says swapping part for shards because shards will be needed soon for crates and guild leveling, and the prices are about on par. I've still been selling one part. I sell one part every time I claim, and I'm just, I've said this before, I've just been looking at it like just kind of an ongoing cost averaging kind of thing. Yes, we will need shards. I'm just collecting them as we go. Let's check out part, see what it's doing today. It's been hovering around 0.5. 19 cents. So it has went down a lot. Obviously, he's trying to do things to, make it, beef it up a little bit. So shards about 16 cents. Yeah, they're pretty close. If we look at going into guilds, I really hope he brings this down because this seems really cost exorbitant. To add 2 slots is going to cost 250 part and 50 shards. I think Gathering brought this up the other day before I even had noticed it. We're really just going to have people pitch in. That's about the only way I can put it. So hopefully that works out. Obviously, it'll help out the guild. Speaking of that, one of the changes in Splinterlands that I'm looking forward to is being able to the money that you invest in your guild up to this point, if you got kicked out of the guild, you wouldn't see any of that. But one of the big changes that's coming about is the fact that you will be able to, if you leave a guild in, and I'm talking about in Splinterlands now. I know we're jumping around, but we kind of got talking about guilds. And in Splinterlands, one of the big changes I'm looking forward to is that if you leave a guild, you will take 90% of what you've donated to that guild with you. Now, that's a plus for you because then you get kicked out of a guild or you leave a guild for another guild, then you're not losing everything you put into the guild. Like I've been with a guild, the guild I'm with, I've been with since, almost 2 years now, right? And I've put a fair amount into the guild. If I left the guild to start my own guild or something like that, I would lose a big chunk. Now, going forward, when they institute it, you will take 90% with you. Now, this leaves kind of the sticky situation that a guild, if a big benefactor of the guild leaves, that guild could de-level and their buildings could de-level. So that would put guilds into a situation, I guess. But I do like the fact that if you leave a guild in Splinterlands after this change occurs, that you'll take it with you. Gathering says, if you take the DEC with you from leaving a guild, doesn't that create a ton of DEC out of nothing? That's a good point. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that because, well, let's work through that, right? So if I put DEC into a building, that's burnt, right? As far as I know. If I go into my guild which I do like on a weekly basis, and I take and I put money into a building, I believe that is burnt, right? So if it's burnt, then you can't create it out of nothing. Maybe it won't. Maybe you won't be getting the DEC back. You will be getting some sort of credit, like Wibble just said. Not if it's another token. Yeah, just what we need, another token, right? Or some sort of credit, right? Now they talked about it in this. I'm trying to see if they talked about it this week. I think they talked about it. So you're not getting DEC back. You're getting guild points. If someone leaves the guild, they get 90% of the guild points back. The remaining 10% remains attached to the previous guild. Therefore, it is possible for guild buildings to level down. And then they're going to put in a 7-day probationary period, so you can't just be jumping around. So you can't be like they're trying to prevent people with large stakes being members of like 2 or 3 guilds, and putting their stake and putting it for, letting it count towards multiple guilds. I think that's what that is. And all this is a precursor to the new guild building. So yeah, I think you're not getting the DEC back. You're just getting a credit, a guild point credit of some sort. So. And then just going further, just kind of rounding off this town hall, they talked about Monster Mayhem. I've got to be really frank with you. I don't have a whole lot of time to watch the Splinterlands TV. I have from time to time, but I don't have time to sit there and watch a lot. But they are putting, I will give them credit that they've put a lot of time and effort towards the marketing part. This is like their cornerstone of their marketing, right? So it's better than nothing. It's better than what we had. And then Nate went on to show some eye candy, whatever you want to call it, just the new UI, the new GUI, as far as when you. And this is very much aimed at people who own a lot of lands, and you'll be able to drill in the UI and be able to have an easier interface. Instead of having to go back and forth between each individual land, you'll be able to have all your lands on one page and be able to interface and do your day-to-day upkeep, whatever that will be, on one page. So, and as always, this is bound to change, but it looks good. I mean, for what it is, it's it's a one pane of glass type thing where you can see all your lands and do all your maintenance. Hopefully, from my view, they've got to make this fun, right? Because part of this playing the game is having fun, right? If maintaining land becomes too much of a chore, they're going to find people selling off and getting out of the game. So they've got to find a way to make it kind of easy and kind of fun, as well as, earning some on it, right? Because most of the people on blockchain gaming games are in it for the money, but also want to play, right? So there's got to be some fun to it. And if it, personally, if it becomes too much of a job, I'll be like, okay, I'm selling out, because last thing I need is another job, right? So, and that was it. So there was not a whole lot to the town hall. Lately, they've been doing a lot of shoulder padding, and I think that he uses these town halls to kind of thank his team and kind of put it out there. A lot of this town hall can be really cut in half as far as lengthwise if they just do a lot less shoulder padding. But I'm all for it. Keep your team spirits up and everything. They're doing good work, and yeah, so. So back on Golem Overlord, I don't know what else to say on it other than the fact that he's still working. I did check this morning, and I didn't see any further updates from him. Alex asks, do you play GLX soccer? I do not. I am not a football/soccer fan. I mean, I like watching a match once in a while if there's one on at the pub, but that I had to make a decision. There's so much right now in the ecosystem as far as Splinterland, Splinter Forge, other games like Golem Overlord, and if you watched a video I had out, there's a few other blockchain games I play. I just had to cut it off, and while I understand why people would be interested, especially in other parts of the world, soccer/football is just very popular. It's not something I went in on. I do roll over the token, and I am staking the token on a daily basis. And if you watched Gathering had a video earlier this week that he put out a tip on doing auto staking of the GLX token, so you didn't have to go in and do it automatically, and that's on Splex. Go catch his video on that, but it's a good tip. And Gathering says, can't wait for Golem crates and unlocking guild features. Yeah, I agree. I still don't really know what kind of crate, due to the type of game this is, what they could sell in a crate. It's very easy, like in Splinter Forge. The crates were pretty easy. They sell equipment and gems and stuff like that. But in this game, what are they going to sell in crates, or what's going to drop in crates? So that's what I'm interested in finding out. And I don't know. Thus far, he's been pretty creative, and he's a literal math mastermind, which amazes me. But I'll be happy if he could come out with some crates and add functionality to the game, make it fun, and also kind of get control over these farms to where the token goes back up in price a little bit. Alex says, so you're going to play TD. TD. Tower defense. So just to put this out there, I love tower defense games, right? But frankly, when they showed the artwork and things, I became less enthused because I don't really like the tower defense, the way they're going with that. So I will play it, but I've only got a few packs, and I don't know how deep I'm going to go on it. I think I've got to be frank here, at the risk of stepping on some toes. I think they could have done a lot more with this. I think what they did, and this is just my 2 cents worth. It looks like they took a kind of a free-to-play, Eastern-based iOS or Android app that exists on the market to sell microtransactions, and they dumped it into a UI and interfaced it with the blockchain, and it just does not grab me. I mean, I've played plenty of tower defense games. Like I said, it's one of my favorite types of games to play, and it just looks like they could have done so much more as far as gameplay goes. It has to be a fun game. And I'm at the point that I'm invested in so much of this infrastructure as far as different games going, that I really, at this point, when a new game comes out, I have to decide, is it worth putting the money in? If it came out and it looked like a really fun game to me, I'd probably go in. But at this point, it does not look, it doesn't look like it's going to be a great game. So, but that's just my 2 cents worth. Alex says possibly extra shields in Golem Overlord. Yeah, I mean, there are a few different options, but if they're going to sell crates, you got to have something cool. You got to have something with different rarities. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm sure he's got something. I'm sure he had some kind of idea. Otherwise, he wouldn't even have put it out there as a possibility, right? Gathering says crates may contain some kind of NFT or different rarities. That's true. He is still yet to put out the whole NFT, how NFTs are going to exist within the game and what they are. So looking forward to that. Wibble says they started crates in TerraCore last week. Now, once again, I've had a few people, and please humor me, but I've had a few people that have asked me to try out TerraCore, but I'm at the kind of level right now where I've got so many games going on that I just don't have time to play another one, and or like spreading finances, right? So. Wibble says NFT that buffs attack defense. True. Anything could come out, an NFT that buffs any of the particular stats involved is an option. Obviously, there could be items that buff your reputation because, as we've seen with the recent changes, leveling up is becoming paramount, really, for the buffs involved. And basically, any of these, besides maybe banked, could benefit from an item, an NFT item that would buff the stat. So, Gathering says, have you been playing Splinterforge to build up for XP for when it goes live for hero leveling and skills? It's a two-parter question, really. I have been playing, and my main focus, to answer your question, no, I have not been playing primarily for the hero leveling. Now, it is happening, as you've seen in your video. The experience is building up. I don't think that the experience is in a really good spot. It was in a weird spot. Where is it? I watched your video. Where's the experience at again? Oh, it's in inventory. Yeah, I think that's a bad spot. So to answer your questions, I have been building up experience, however, not primarily for, it's just kind of an after effect of playing, right? So I do have experience. I think that's a terrible spot for it. They said they will, Gathering says they said they will move it to the hero screen. Yeah, I think that the most obvious spot is there should be a line here, right? Just right underneath your hero, representing experience. And then, obviously level up possibilities or however that's going to work. My main thing is I'm trying to save up for my boots. I need to go up to the next level of my boots, which is the next logical thing for me, I believe, and that's going to require 3 BCX, and currently, I just checked it this morning, a 3 BCX on this one is about 160,000 forge, 159,000 forge, and like I had said earlier, it's like every time I think I have enough money to upgrade them, the price goes up, so... Gathering says, main thing is keep playing every day to keep earning forge. Yeah, I agree. I keep playing. Currently, I've been playing against silver because I seem to do better with silver than I do gold. I'm currently ranked 24th in silver. So I've been lucky. I mean, I've been trying to improve my heroes, my equipment. But when you get to a certain point, it just gets, it takes a while to build up forge to be able to, just minutely improve things just a little bit, right? So I do have a secondary account that I play in bronze as well, but it's just kind of an after effect. It's my secondary Splinterlands account as well, so... I don't think there's anything else to talk about on the town hall because it was relatively light in topics. I think one of the things, the other thing I wanted to talk about was this proposal that passed. And I guess I'm going to have to, let's look at past proposals. So the one I'm talking about is the anti-bot measures. I'm really surprised at this. Now, don't read me wrong. You know, initially, Alex, when it's later, I'm on EST, and when it's later, I watch it secondhand and read through the notes. Sometimes when it's midday, I can catch some of it and listen to it while I'm doing other work. Alex says 209 subs this week. Let's get to 500. Yeah, looking forward to it, Alex. I'm looking forward to it. I need to put out a few more videos this last week. Obviously, I've been recovering from a massive attack of allergies, but I'm getting there. You're in Florida? I'm up in Pennsylvania, around Philly. So I guess one of the main last topics before we cut off at the top of the hour is that I'm really surprised that Splinterlands is going to implement anti-bot measures in modern format. Part of the surprise is that these proposals, as far as I know, are really mostly supposed to center around the DAO and things that are done with the DAO, right? This proposal strikes me as something that's completely not related to the DAO. This is game related. And the DAO is not supposed to have control over game related changes. So I'm surprised at this. Now, don't read me wrong. Originally, when I started the game, I didn't think there should be any bots. But this whole time period, the team has been very pro-bot, right? Yeah, Alex says, yes, the vote only counts for the DAO. And the DAO, like I said, this is a strictly gameplay, game mechanic change. I didn't think DAO proposals were supposed to be able to do that, okay? Or I guess you could put them up there, but the team didn't necessarily have to implement them because they are not related to the DAO or how the DAO is invested, etc. Alex says when the game-related votes are there, they are not votes. It's a poll for the team. Okay, yeah, I understand. But with that said, like I just said, I'm surprised that, I guess overall, I'm surprised that it's gaining traction because for 2+ years that I've been playing, the team has firmly been, they're allowing bots, right? They've been firmly behind that for whatever reason. And now I think they're seeing that all these changes, I mean, there's just been a continuing string of changes they've implemented over the last 2 years to try to fight bots, right? If you all watch my videos, you know that I use the Archmage bot. Typically, I use that because at the point I started playing, I basically came to the realization they're not going to make bots illegal. So why not just join them? Okay, I'm throwing all this money into the game. I'm investing this money. So why not see a return on my investment? More than I can just sit there and play a few times every evening. Alex says, I think it's wrong they do it this way. Well, all I can say is we've just got to, roll with the punches, I guess. I guess my takeaway is that I'm going to have to stop. I'm going to have to go back to Wild and have my Archmage bots on both teams play in Wild. And I don't know how that's going to work out. But with that said, it's definitely a big topic. I never thought that, because they've been so firmly for having bots in the game. Early on, I think the bot farms just kept the game going because they kept buying more and more of the spell books and whatever is going on behind the scenes. But I always felt that there shouldn't be bots. But then at a certain point, I said, well, if you can't beat them, join them. So I started using the Archmage bot when it came out. And Gathering says I only played in Wild. I played in Wild right up until I started using the Archmage bot. And that was about the same time Chaos Legion was getting into full swing. And actually, since I'm contemplating having, if they put this change in, I'll have to go back to Wild with my play, and I will have to think about strengthening my team. I'm thinking about buying a level 6 Alric, really. I have a level 3 Alric. I'm thinking about selling it and buying a level 6 just to improve my wild hand a little bit. But just kind of the other item I did buy this week, just kind of out of the blue, was a Coral Lurker. This is the wrong account. So I did buy a Coral Lurker this week. And I mainly bought it because I've been keeping my eye on it, and the price came down. So that was my weekly purchase, just because it's a good card, right? I feel that of the whole set, this is one of the strongest cards. And obviously, it's the price fluctuated up, and let's take a look at it. Let's go over Peak Monsters, buy. And sort. Oh, and since I bought it yesterday, the price has gone up a little bit. But as you can see, it's fluctuated up as high as $26, and I think I bought it yesterday about $20. So it's came back down, but I think it's a good strong buy, and it represents value. Anyway, I just bought it because I saw it, the price had come down a little bit. So as we cap off, anybody else have last words, last question, or something to say before we call it at the top of the hour? Okay, well, with that said, thanks everybody for dropping by. I do appreciate your time. Please keep an eye out for future videos, and if you have any ideas on anything you want me to cover on videos, just go ahead and drop me a line. Alex, have a good one, and I will talk to you all later. I will see you on the flip side. Have a good one, Gathering. And Gathering says, keep stacking your SPS and get ready for land. Lots to do yet. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that SPS and DEC that you stack up at this point will go to waste. Have a good one, guys. See you on the flip side.